Welcome to the Mighty Basketball Podcast, also known as M.O.B Podcast. I'm Evan.
And I'm Ja.
And this is our basketball podcast where we recap, break down, and analyze players and teams from the previous games from the previous day. How are you this Saturday afternoon, Ja?
I'm good. Chilling like a. Yeah, I'm just chilling.
You shot so hard to think of a joke. Then you was like, damn, I'm not funny. It's okay, bro. It's okay. It happens to the best of us. I'm having a good day as well. Hope everyone have a good day. Hope everyone will have a good day. It is the weekend, so enjoy it while it lasts, as I always say. You know. Yeah. I'm a little tired, but we're gonna get through it like we always do. So let's jump in it. There was a lot of action around the association from last night's set of games. A lot happened. Yeah. So first, I guess we start off with the first primetime game, which was the Mavs and the Pelicans, and this was really entertaining. Both teams on offensive display. Of course, no defense. The Mavericks don't have no defense. The Pelicans are just right up there with them. Zion was on fire in that first half. Couldn't miss. Literally, he could not miss. He was 10 for 10. He was on fire. Porzingis was just shooting the lights out.
Look like the Porzingis of old.
I mean, yeah. I mean, well, it looked like Porzingis from this year, but this time the shots were going in.
Yeah.
So
looking like Porzingis at the bubble.
Brandon Ingram stepped up as well as usual. Luka Doncic, we're gonna get back to him in a minute. But yeah, like I said, this was a good back and forth affair in that first half. Then the third quarter hit, Mavs started to pull away a little bit more. Yeah. Luka and Porzingis, just a monster night for both of them offensively. Mm-hmm. Luka had it going from start to finish. Finished with 46, his career high. 46-point double-double, I believe. Yes, 46-point double-double because he had 12-6. And Porzingis, not that far behind him, Porzingis had 36, his best game of the season.
About time. And he came at the right team against the right team. I'm at the right moment.
The right time against the right team. Yeah. But he had another good game, I think, against the Hawks, I think.
Oh, yeah, yes, he did. Yes, he did.
The first win against the Hawks, I believe.
Yeah, against the first, yep.
Yeah. But, like I said, really a great offensive display by both teams, but the Mavs just had it going in that third quarter, and they just really kept it going for the rest of the game. Pelicans tried their best to get back into the game, led by Zion and Brandon Ingram, of course, but they just couldn't stop Luka. They really couldn't stop Luka.
Again, as I told you last episode, these are two teams that has in most parts of the season, like had shown an inability to close out games. You know what I mean? And they came out firing in the first quarter, both teams. Zion Williamson and Ingram had it going in the first quarter, in the first half, especially that first quarter. And then, it was just a back and forth affair from both teams. And then the third quarter hit, and it was just all Mavs from that point. The Mavs started to pull away, just like what you said in that third. And then, in the fourth, they start to run away with it for sure. And Luka's going to do Luka. We know what he does on a nightly basis. Porzingis is, again, hopefully this is the game. And now he's going to take that motivation and that momentum. He's going to take it into other games, and he's going to continue to have performances like these.
Well, I feel like, I give a little, people might disagree with this, but I think this game might hinder him. Why? Because what happened in the game? It was him shooting a lot of three-pointers.
Yeah.
And this game, luckily for him and for the Mavericks, they won it. But I feel like Porzingis, too much this year, has been shooting. Just too much. Where his skill set isn't just him being a big man shooter. He's not Channing Frye. Yeah. He can do it all.
He can, yeah.
And I feel like he should show that more. He should be in the low post more. He should stop shooting. He takes too many threes sometimes. So many deep threes so many times.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. As long as, in my opinion, you're right. less more. I think, but I think that's a problem with a lot of big men. But we had that problem with Joel Embiid. I think he has changed that as of this season.
Yes,
Like other
and that's
players,
why he's being successful, and that's why it's Sixers are in the position where they are.
yeah. I feel like there's a lot of big men that is relying more on shooting than just using the advantage of the physical gifts that they were blessed with. I feel like as long as Porzingis notices that and starts to be more aggressive and has confidence in himself to take it more into the paint, I feel like he'd be fine. That's all that it is.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, that's nothing really else to say about the game.
About the game, the Mavs win. They run away with it.
Yeah, the Mavs, they've kind of gotten onto a little hot streak now. I believe that's 4 in a row. They one game behind, 500, really battling back. I'm really impressed at how they play. Defensively, they still suck, but I feel like offensively, I think they're getting it going now. They're not making the same mistakes that they did before,
Yeah.
and they're moving the ball around better than before. They're hitting their shots better than before, taking better shots better than before. So I feel like that attributes to how they're playing, and it's
Yeah.
showing now.
But they probably gonna lose next game.
Don't
Sorry,
come on.
my bad. Sorry.
Let's not hate on them right now. They win the 4 straight. And like I said, they're getting onto a little hot streak now. So good job by the Mavericks and good win.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go to the next game of the doubleheader, which was, of course, the Grizzlies against the defending champions, Los Angeles Lakers. And wow, what a roller coaster this game was. First, start off, the Grizzlies just came out there and just punched the Lakers in the mouth. Just punched. Came out with all the energy and effort. The Lakers are making costly mistakes. Had like 6 turnovers in the first quarter. Not Laker basketball whatsoever. They don't make mistakes like that. Really, it's the other team that makes the mistakes, and they
Yeah.
capitalize off that. But this was them making the mistakes. The Grizzlies capitalized off of it,
Yeah.
and they got out to a 22-2 lead in that first quarter.
Yeah.
Just wow. I was shocked in how that game started, but I wasn't shocked how the game would transpire later on, because I know what the Lakers are capable of, and everybody knows the Lakers are capable of. Just do this, switches on. They could be down by 20. Next thing you know, they up by 15.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is, you don't know when that happened. All in now what is now known as the most important quarter of this NBA's
Yep, the
of
third
today's
quarter.
NBA, third quarter.
Third quarter. I feel like the seeds were planted in that second quarter because they started getting some rhythm into that second quarter, and then it just started sprouting in that third quarter, and they went crazy. AD was back, by the way. If you didn't notice, if you didn't check, he's back, and he played a big part in them getting him back to that game. LeBron, of course,
Wash King.
Wash King, of course. Jordan would never. 22-2 against the Grizzlies. Jordan would never. LeBron was doing it all for the Lakers, as he's been doing it all in his entire career. What?
Kuzma.
Oh yeah, Kuzma had a good game as well. Coming off the bench, he stepped up, especially in that second and third quarter.
Mm-hmm.
And so as a result, really, once that happened in that third quarter, the Grizzlies tried to fight back, tried to get back into the game after giving up the lead and after letting the Lakers get onto that huge run. But it's hard once the Lakers get it going, you can't really get it back.
Exactly. Yeah. The moment you give them a window of opportunity to get back into the game and they take the lead, it's a likely chance you're never going to get that lead back. Let's just be honest. Unless if you're a good closer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
And once again, Paul Pierce with a weird take. Like, oh my
leave Paul
god.
Pierce alone, man. Just let him be. Let him be.
I'm not even gonna say what he said.
But speaking of the player he was talking about, John Morant.
Yeah, he was balling.
Yeah, he was balling. Grayson Allen was balling. Jonas Valanciunas looking like he was back in Toronto in his early days in Toronto, early years in Toronto. Yeah, and it looked really good for the Grizzlies, but as I said, you gotta put your foot on their neck. And you cannot make mistakes
Mhm.
against this Lakers teams.
You can't
And
get
that,
comfortable.
yeah,
Yeah.
you can't get comfortable and you can't make mistakes. And that is what happened. They made mistakes. They they let the Lakers come back, or rather, the Lakers just came back. It felt
Yeah.
like it was inevitable that was going to happen. I knew it was going to happen.
I had a feeling it was gonna happen too.
Mhm.
Man.
And as a result, with a late tomahawk dunk by LeBron, really helped seal the deal. And the Lakers, off of a comeback win against this Grizzlies team, win this game. And I've now won 7 in a row, I believe.
Yeah. And that's my nickname for Braun now, since people want to disrespect him all the time. Wash King. Whenever he goes off like this, I'm gonna call him the Wash King, looking like a prince more than a king.
But yeah, I'm sorry. Lakers are on a.
7. You said 7.
Oh yeah, I was right. Okay, yeah, that has updated. Yeah, 7-game winning streak, and the only reason why they are not first in the Western Conference is because there's a team that is just doing slightly better. So with that, I think that's a good transition. So I'll go first this time, how we usually do, talking about the games that happened all around the league besides just the primetime games. Anything that we noticed, any player performances, anything that we talk about. And since I just mentioned that, let's talk about the Utah Jazz. They had a tough game ahead of them, which was against the reigning MVP Giannis and his Milwaukee Bucks. But it didn't seem that tough. I mean, the way the Jazz have been playing, I cannot say it enough.
Yeah.
Their basketball is just pure. It's so pure. Quinn Snyder has just done a fantastic job with this team. They have stopped relying on Donovan Mitchell trying to save them all the time, and they have spread the ball around more. They've they've took more threes. They've made more threes. They've gotten better defensively. I feel like they have just tweaked their defensive system just a little bit. Not
Yeah.
because they didn't really need that much, because Gobert, of course, is their
They,
leader on the defensive side, so they didn't really do much. But of course, with the addition of Conley, even though Conley has been playing for the past 2 games, and that's another thing. When players are out, they still find a way to win. When key players are out, they still find a way to win. They won without Donovan Mitchell for a few games. They're winning without Conley. It's just so amazing how they've been able to do it in the way they're doing it. I mean, look at this game against the Bucks. Let's talk about this game real quickly.
go ahead.
Um, so as I said, this was it looked like a tough road ahead for them against this Bucks team, but it didn't seem like that. They took care of this Bucks team convincingly. Giannis struggled in the early part of the game. The Jazz had it going. Everyone on the Jazz had it going. Matter of fact, they had a franchise record. 4 players had, I believe, 25 or more points. 4 players. That's Donovan, that's Ingles, that's Clarkson, and that's Gobert.
Okay.
Like you cannot say enough about this Jazz team.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about a team that has chemistry? This is it.
Again, they looking like they peak. They looking like they peaking right now. Like this is their peak moment. If it could get better than this, I'll be amazed. But this looks like their peak moment right now, and especially from the fact that I feel like their second best scorer, Bogdanovich, didn't have a really good game, and they won this game in convincing fashion is amazing to me. But yet again, when you got a blend of shooters, scorers, along with the fact you got hustlers and really good defenders, it's just like when you have a blend with that, along with a great coach and a great system set around it, not relying on just one player and just with a flow of movement, then this is going to be fun kind of basketball to watch every time. This is a fun team to watch. Fun team to watch. They're just always in rhythm. They're always clicking. And it seems like ever since that situation that happened last season, like they've been on something
On a
to prove.
mission.
Yeah.
This Jazz team reminds me of that 2014 Hawks team, if you remember,
Yeah.
where they had Paul Millsap, Al Horford, Jeff Teague,
And
and
Kyle Korver.
Kyle Korver.
Yeah.
led by Mike Budenholzer. And that team, their ball movement was just flawless. They
Yeah.
had no star player, but yet they was able to spread the ball around, create open looks for themselves, get open shots, and their defense was good as well. That system was just amazing. This
Yeah.
team reminds me of that, except as I said before, they didn't have a star player. They didn't have a closer. And that's what messed them up in the end when they hit the playoffs.
Yeah.
They had lost to LeBron in the Cavs
Abs. Yeah.
in the Eastern Conference Finals. This team has Donovan Mitchell. Not to mention, they also have a 3-time Defensive Player of the Year,
Yeah.
or two-time,
Two
right?
times.
Yeah,
Two times.
two-time Defensive Player of the Year. So they have those. They have the pieces around them. They have probably the 6th man of the year in Jordan Clarkson.
Yeah. Who's a bucket? Absolute bucket. Yeah.
And yeah, they just have everything going for them. They are the hottest team in the league right now. I think 17 out of 18. They're the reason why the Lakers aren't first, even though the Lakers have been playing great basketball. It's just amazing to watch this team and the way they handled this Bucks team. It was up as big as 21. The Bucks made a little run in the fourth, but they stopped that and halted that.
Yeah.
It was like I said, they was able to handle this Bucks team convincingly in convincing fashion.
They looking dangerous, and any team that's going to go up against it looks like, well, even though we're nowhere near the playoffs, let's just call it. I feel like let's just call it now. Any team that goes against them in the playoffs will have a problem, a huge problem. Along with the fact, yep, along with the fact of what happened last season where Mitchell averaged like damn near 37. Yeah, good luck.
Yeah, I hope they can keep it for the rest of the season like this around this. Obviously, I don't think they're gonna win what like 60 out of 61 games down the line.
Yeah,
But if they can keep this type of energy, type of momentum going for them down the line, I think they can be really, really, really dangerous in the playoffs.
yeah.
But yeah, a great, impressive win by this Jazz team. We cannot give them enough credit in how they're playing. But all right, the other game that I wanted to talk about. What was the other game that I wanted to talk about? Oh yeah, the Magic and the Sacramento Kings, and this Vucevic. So yeah, this was a surprising game as I thought the Kings was going to be able to pick up this one, but it was the Magic that came out with the energy and the effort. They got out to the lead in a big lead. They was up double digits, and that was because Vucevic, the Kings couldn't have no answer for him.
Yeah.
He was doing it all. I mean, 41 in the game. He was shooting, posting up, and one layup. I mean, it doesn't matter. And not only him, they also had some help from Mike Carter Williams. I haven't heard of him since he won Rookie of the Year. So, so they got that help from Mike Carter Williams. We stepped up big time. He had 21 in the game.
Yeah.
And sorry. And despite the Kings trying to make a flurry and getting back into the game, the Magic were able to hold them off. And they was able to win this game. So yeah, the good win by the Magic and a great performance by Vucevic.
Yeah.
The last thing real quickly, the Knicks had played the Wizards. I'm not gonna really go too in depth about that game. Bradley Beal didn't play, and the Knicks really handled them convincingly. Julius Randle, 24 and 18, great game by him. But the big story was that Mitchell Robinson got hurt. He's been playing big minutes for the Knicks, and he's playing well for the Knicks throughout the entire season. He's their paint protector. He's their rebounder, and he fractured his hand.
Yeah.
So that's a big blow for the Knicks as they've been trying to, get into that rhythm and stay within that hunt in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah.
That might hurt them.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Hopefully he recovers quickly. Hopefully he recovers soon. Is a fractured hand on his left hand, and I believe he's right-handed, so that's a good sign, at least. So yeah, praise up for him. Hopefully he recovers quickly because the Knicks do need him.
Yeah.
All right. Now I'll toss it over to you. Any other games that you want to talk about? Anything that you want to speak about?
Let's just get this embarrassment out the way. Despite having a great game from two of the young core stars,
I'll do it. Isaiah Thomas Joe Dumars, Chauncey Billups, Rick Hamilton, Ben Wallace,
Rasheed Wallace.
Rasheed Wallace,
Drummond.
Andre Drummond, Bill Laimbeer. Don't tell Larry Bird that though.
Grant Hill.
Oh yeah, Grant Hill. Who else?
Jerry Stackhouse. No, not Jerry Stackhouse. Sorry.
Dennis Rodman.
Yeah.
And oh yeah,
Mark McGuire.
Mark McGuire, Adrian Dantley before they tossed him away. Vinny Microwave Johnson. Oh yeah,
John Sally.
Oh yeah, John Sally, Rick Mahorn. And last but not least, might be the best out of all of them, to be honest with you. Saddiq Bey.
he outplayed Tatum.
What a performance by Saddiq Bey. What a night for him.
30 points, 7 to 7 from the three.
Didn't miss from deep.
Couldn't miss from deep. Like, even had a big clutch 3 down the stretch to end the game.
12 rebounds.
12 rebounds. He was getting in there. He was being a bully. He was even getting to the paint whenever he needed to. And it was just basically all Detroit from that point. And no matter how many times, because the Celtics looked like they were going to get on the run so many times, but it looked like no matter how many times they could get on the run, the Pistons just always had an answer and just went like straight down for like as if it was like a 30-0 run. It's an embarrassing loss by the Celtics, man.
Oh yeah, a really embarrassing loss by the Celtics. I mean, come on. Kemba didn't play, but you don't need Kemba Walker to be the best team. The worst team in the league. But somehow, all the wins that the Pistons have got have been against good teams.
Yep. The chip on their shoulder. I tell you.
Well, I mean, but that just happens in the league sometimes. It's just teams, long season, teams don't worry about other teams, and they get caught slipping sometimes. So that's just happened. But yeah, Saddiq Bey, what a performance, young man. What a performance.
Hey, what you tell me? Isaiah and Joe Dumas lost to
no, Bird and McHale, a battle with Isaiah and Dumars and the Bad Boys. Paul Pierce, and then later KJ and Ray Allen battle with Ben Wallace, and Rip Hamilton, and Chauncey Billups of the Pistons.
Yeah.
And Tatum Brown battling with Saddiq Bey.
Well, that's embarrassing.
I mean, but he came out of nowhere.
Yeah, he did come out of nowhere. He did.
Yeah, this is a performance. This is a surprise performance by him. But yeah,
there's nothing else to really say about that.
Great win by the Pistons, and even better performance by Saddiq Bey.
Yeah.
All right.
Next game. This was a really back and forth game, really good game between the Minnesota Timberwolves and Charlotte Hornets. It was a duel between the two rookies who had really good outing performances, LaMelo Ball and Anthony Edwards. They were just putting on a show for the crowd. Well, for the people at home, unless if the Hornets have attendance, I don't know. But also along that, it was just a back and forth game. Rozier, I believe. Rozier had 41. He was cooking. Devontae Graham had a good game coming off. LaMelo Ball, of course, again. Nobody talk about Gordon Hayward had a big time performance. Well, not a big time performance, but he came up big for his team. And Karl Anthony Towns, Malik Beasley had it going. This Timberwolves team was just fun to watch. But yet it came down to the wire, and as a result, the Hornets just was better down the stretch, and as a result, they was able to take the win 120 to 114.
Yeah, good one by the Hornets.
Yeah.
All right.
And the final game is actually the Nuggets versus the Thunder. Let's just say the Thunder had a
lead.
Yep, I had a good lead, and yet again, a young, inexperienced team. Well, I can't even say they're inexperienced because they was in the playoffs last year, but as a result, they had a lead and they couldn't close it as Denver just came up. And finally, it wasn't just Joker, but on his own. Actually, Jamal Murray finally had a good game. Jamal Murray finally had a good game. He had 22 on the night, even though we just
No, he's been having good games, but he's finally stepped up when we needed him to step up.
Basically, it might have been 22, but his execution down the stretch and everything was just amazing. He was helping out this team in so many ways in offensive production, and he finally looked like he was asserting himself. You know what I mean? Even though he has had good games, there's been games where you can see how he hasn't really wanted to really assert himself. He was just being laid back. But in this game, he looked good, and the Nuggets were able to do a quick comeback, especially down the stretch in the fourth quarter. And as a result, they was able to take the game 97 to 95.
Yep. Great come from behind win by the Nuggets, as they was trailing as big as 19 in that game, I believe.
Yeah.
So a great come from behind win by the Nuggets. All right. All that out the way now, finally. It is prediction time for tonight's set of games. One is as early as afternoon. So let's get into it. And that one in the afternoon is a primetime game featuring the 76ers and the Suns at 3 o'clock. Who you got?
76ers.
Sixers. Insane game. I got the Suns. The Suns have been playing really good basketball as of late.
Yeah.
So I feel like the momentum's on their side. I think they're going to take it. All right. The Pacers or the Hawks?
Pacers. I got the Pacers with this.
I got the Hawks. The Rockets or the Knicks?
Rockets. Wait, no, Knicks, because the Rockets are suffering from injury.
Injury. Knicks. The second primetime game and probably the biggest of the, actually, no, it is the biggest game of the night, is the Brooklyn Nets with the returning Kevin Durant, of course, after all the COVID situation that was going on from last week. He will return for tonight's set of games. Tonight's set of games. For tonight's game.
Yeah.
And this, what a game to return. Because he is returning to his old team, to the old arena. Well, not actually, he didn't play in that arena. To the old city, playing against Golden State.
Yeah.
You got?
I got the Nets.
You got the Nets. I think Curry might drop 70.
Yeah, he could drop 70. But don't forget, in today's NBA, you can't drop a good amount of points and win. So
that is true. But I got the Warriors because I think their 3-point shooting will be key in this game because the Nets defense is atrocious.
Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to that game. That should be interesting. That should be good. Good offensive display. That's what I think we're going to get.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a fun offensive game, yeah.
Yeah. And lastly, the last game of the night, the Miami Heat, fully healthy and playing well, up against the red-hot Utah Jazz. That quickly.
I'm sorry. They're too hot, and even though Miami's getting back into form, I don't think they got a chance. No, I'm not going to say they don't got a chance.
I think they got. I got Jazz, but I think they got a chance. They got a chance. We've been playing well ever since Jimmy Butler came back. They're getting healthier, and they've been playing winning basketball, and they've been winning games.
Look, I say this: if Butler, this is a defensive team, right? If Butler could limit Mitchell, then I say that they have a better chance of being the Jazz.
But see, the thing is, the Jazz, they don't need Mitchell's not their be on end all.
Yeah, that is true.
They have other pieces that step up, so I can't even go with that take. But that should be an interesting game. All these should be interesting games. Mainly, Sixers, Suns, Heat, Jazz, and the Warriors and the Nets. Yeah. Also, like I said, should be interesting games. Only a few, but we'll see how they play out.
Yeah.
But all right, I think it's time to wrap things up. Any final thoughts?
Early upload.
Yes, you're right. There will be an early upload for tomorrow's podcast because there's a game at 1. So be mindful of that. 11 a.m. 11 a.m. A little more upload like we sometimes do when that happens. 11 a.m. So be there, be ready, and don't miss out.
Yeah.
And with that being said, thank you guys for watching today's pod. Make sure to tune into tomorrow's podcast at 11 a.m. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe.
Make sure you also follow IG down in the description below.
And once again, I'm Evan.
And I'm Ja.
And this is the Mind Basketball Podcast.